Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, new setup as you can see. We came here to the Guangzhou temple with the Matajis. So I had to carry my whole equipment. So now let me know if everything is in order. Is the image okay? Is the sound okay? On my end it seems to be okay. One moment. Okay, I've got a small fan turned on. Tell me if the mic can pick up the sound of the fan. Can you hear the fan? Is it doing any glitching or anything? If yes, let me know. So thank you for joining today's class. Okay. All right. So Dimitri Prabhu is saying he doesn't hear the fan. All right. So sorry, I was 2 minutes late. Sorry for the setup. Please let everyone know that the session has started. We are beginning. This is the first class in a new series, which is called Vaiṣṇava Etiquette. So we're going to be discussing many different aspects of Vaiṣṇava behavior. So I was hesitating on how to say Vaiṣṇava etiquette or Vaiṣṇava behavior, which so it is proper. Anyway, okay. So sorry, it was a big rush. Actually, we were preparing to go to Singapore, and so we're coming here to Guangzhou first. We'll be heading to Singapore on the 16th if everything goes well. My wife still didn't get her Singaporean visa. And after Singapore, we'll be heading to Philippines, so there's a lot going on, and we had to leave the farmhouse, and with 2 children, all of this. So I have a lot in my mind, sorry, but let's purify the mind by discussing this Krishna Katha, very important topic. So share the links in the classes, everyone, please. Let everybody know that we have begun. So we shall begin with the Mangala Charana prayer, as always. So try to invoke the blessings of the previous Acharya and Shri Radha Krishna for this most auspicious Sudam. I'm giving a class now. No. Okay, because we're going to be hearing, you have to go in Popo's room. Go. Okay, sorry. As I said, with 2 children, it's not easy to set up everything. My wife is making our daughter sleep, and the boy has to be occupied meanwhile. Okay. We shall begin with the Mangala Charana prayer. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnanjala Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunantam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shivishakampitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Dev Gauravan Pacharan Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashacharya Chatarana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shvasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you for joining today's topic, envy towards devotees, envy towards Vaishnavas. Under the mini-series of Vaiṣṇava etiquettes, discussing Krishna conscious taboos. So, meanwhile, during the session, if you have any questions, please put in the comment section. I will not be looking as the class is going on, but towards the end we will be having a Q&A session. So let us begin. So, envy towards devotees is something that we must address. It's very, very important, and it actually affects practically all devotees in the beginning stage. If a devotee has no envy towards other devotee, that means he has already advanced to a high platform, maybe in previous lives or so on, because Kanishta Adhikari means he will be feeling some envy. Okay? So, how to deal, how should we feel about it? How should we deal with it? How to purify the heart from this envy towards other devotees? So these things we'll be discussing in today's session. So, yes, if we get disconnected during the session, please stay put. I will be back soon. I'm live streaming from China with a VPN. Okay, so first of all, let us define envy, right? We're going to be discussing about envy, so let us define what envy is. So, we will first of all see Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how he describes envy from Sajjana Toshani. Then we'll see a quote from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then from Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, parampara, different acharyas. This is okay. Alright, so I will be sharing this here because I will be sharing my notes, okay? So just give me a moment here. Okay. Alright, so this is okay, so why is envy the leader of all 6 internal enemies? By Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What is envy? Are envy and love opposed to each other? Okay, so here's the definition of envy. To become happy on seeing others' distress and to become distressed on seeing others' happiness is called envy. So here we have the definition of envy. We can understand who is envious with this description, and we can understand if we are envious with that description as well. So envy and love are contradictory, hence mutually exclusive. So where there is one, there cannot be the other. That is the meaning of exclusive. Wherever there is envy, there is no question of love, and wherever there is love, there is no question of envy. So very nicely put by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So if I see someone's suffering and that gives me pleasure, I'm definitely envious. And if I see someone successful and I become disturbed, so these are the 2 symptoms. So that's why we hear that the Vaiṣṇavas, they are paradukkaduki, so they cannot tolerate actually seeing other people's sufferings. Whereas in the material world, every living entity is envious. Because why? Everyone in the material world is trying to satisfy their senses, having become a competitor to Kṛṣṇa, right? This is the everyone here is actually a competitor to Kṛṣṇa. We're trying to go against him, isn't it? He is the supreme enjoyer. We learned this from Shastra. The Acharyas are telling us. But us here in the material world, we want to be the supreme enjoyer. And we want everything to be meant for our enjoyment. Just like today, like my son, he studies English on his iPad. So sometimes there's some stories and things like that, and I always like correct those stories when I hear them. So today there was a story about eating, right? And they were speaking about food and so on. And then they were saying, now you know more about food, so next time you can enjoy it so nicely and so on. So I told him, I said, you see, they have always this aspect of wanted to enjoy. They're not thinking that who has created this food, maybe I should offer to him first and so on. So there's no devotion. It's simply as soon as they see something, a sense object, immediately the conclusion is that that is meant for my enjoyment. They look at a beautiful scenery. This whole scenery is meant for my eyes to enjoy. And this mountain at the back, I will be climbing that mountain and thus bring pleasure to my senses. So they're seeing the entire world met as paraphernalia for their own enjoying propensity. So this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is actually quoted in the CC. So let me share this here. So it is quoted. It's from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, but here we have Prabhupada's translation, since it is in the CC. So this is Madhya Lila, chapter 20, text 119. So this is actually Bhagavatam 11:237. When the living entity is attracted by the material energy, which is separate from Kṛṣṇa, he is overpowered by fear, because he is separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the material energy. His conception of life is reversed. You see? The conception of life of the Nitya Siddha and the Nitya Baddha is completely reversed. It is upside down. In other words, instead of being the eternal servant of Kṛṣṇa, he becomes Kṛṣṇa's competitor. This is called Viparyayo Smritihi. To nullify this mistake, one who is actually learned and advanced worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his spiritual master, worshipful deity and source of life. He thus worships the Lord by the process of unalloyed devotional service. So here we have a key on how to rectify this mistake. We worship the Supreme Lord as our spiritual master. Sakshatari dvena samaste shastre. So why Srila Prabhupada is always letting us, you wake up in the morning, first thing you sing, Samsara Davana, Dhanali Daloka, prayer to the spiritual master. Then we have Guru Puja. Every time we bow down, even before the deity, Namam Vishnu Padaya. So he's always stressing on this point to surrender to the spiritual master. Because that's how we're going to be able to rectify the mistake that we've done, which is to challenge Kṛṣṇa. Like, I want to be you. I want to try to be the enjoyer. So every single living entity in the material world has got this conception of life that they are the supreme enjoyer. Therefore, every other living entity is a competitor to him. Kṛṣṇa is the competitor, but not just Kṛṣṇa is the competitor. Everybody is a competitor. Because I want to be the supreme enjoyer. Yeah, concerning this, okay, I have some skin problems. I need to put some cream. So, yes, so Prabhupada explains this just like if you draw a circle on a sheet of paper. So I draw a circle here, you draw a circle there, you draw a circle there. So there will be so many junctions, drawing over, crossings. So at one point, your sense gratification will clash with mass sense gratification. So because they say, oh, I have friends and enemies, oh, these are my family, these are my friends. But these are only words, okay? These are words. They have no meaning in themselves. They have meaning only because of what of the result. So we have to judge something by the result. For example, we say cigarette. Immediately we don't like, oh, cigarette is bad. Why is it bad? Because it gives a bad breath, it damages health, lungs, you can get cancer, so on. It's addictive. So it's because of the bad effects and the qualities of smoking cigarette that it is bad. But what if smoking cigarette give you good breath? It increased your duration of life. It made your skin color more bright. Then it would not be bad. It would be a good thing, right? So it's according to the result that we judge whether something is good or not. So similarly, friend and enemy, these are words only. So what is it that we're seeing? Friend means only the person who is helping me gratify my senses. That is friend. A person who can participate to my sense gratification. He is called friend. He's called a friend. And a person who is against my sense gratification, he is called an enemy. Okay, so this is actually the real understanding here. So I draw a circle, you draw a circle, we are all against one another. So Prabhupada says if you put Krishna in the center, then he's the center, he's our desire. So all our circles will be perfectly aligned with one another, all overlapping. There will be no clash of interest that I want this portion, you want that portion. So the more we forget about God, the more there will be this separation. And we can see how it is occurring. More and more flags are happening, just like Bangladesh and Pakistan used to be part of India. And there's separation and separation. Even within our movement now there will soon be ISKCON India and ISKCON West. Many of the leaders are speaking about breaking in half the movement. So as soon as you deviate, you remove the Lord, or you deviate from the instructions, you will have to become a competitor to one another, because alignment, vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana, the alignment of desire, the alignment of intelligence is one. What Krishna wants, or what he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the same thing. What the spiritual master wants is the same thing. So what the disciple should want is exactly the same thing. We are paraphernalia in the enjoyment of the Lord's existence. This is his existence. What is going on, what we're seeing, what we're experiencing day and day, it's his life. We're simply a little speck of dust within that whole cosmic manifestation. And we are meant to be a paraphernalia in his enjoyment. That is unity. That is real unity. When we accept who is the real proprietor, right? The last verse of chapter 9. Bhuktaram yagyatapasan sarvaloka maheshvaram. In this way. So he is the supreme proprietor, the supreme enjoyer, and the supreme friend. Okay. So if we are not in line with that, there will be envy in the heart, for sure. Because I will be a competitor to the Lord and to other living entities. So therefore, now we might say then, well, sometimes they're together, these people, and they don't seem to be envious of one another. They are. And that envy will be manifested more and more when it comes to things that are very dear to them. For example, I might have absolutely no interest in collecting stamps. Some people do collect stamps, right? So if I hear that someone has collected like 10,000 stamps, I don't care. But maybe I'm interested in football. So if I see someone that comes in and is a better footballer than me, then immediately I feel envy in my heart, in this way. So envy is there in the heart of all conditioned souls. So how to remove this for us, devotee, those who are serious about spiritual advancement? Because there's no question of love where there is envy. This is what Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying. One moment. Yes, okay, we're back here. Okay. Lust, anger, greed, and pride are included within envy. Because in the beginning we said that the chief of all 6 internal enemies. So what are those 6 internal enemies? Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. But Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying that all these 5 are included within envy. Lust is included in anger, right? Because from lust comes anger. If I become angry, that means lust was there and it has not been satisfied. And that is described in the Bhagavad Gita, right? When one observes the objects of the senses, one develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises, right? So, I want something and it is not fulfilled or does not satisfy me after I get it, and then anger. Lust and anger are included in greed. So the next stage, when my anger, this is mode of passion, then it becomes degenerated to the mode of ignorance, greed. Lust, anger, and greed are included in illusion. Lust, anger, greed, and illusion are included in pride. You see how pride is very destroying. And lust, anger, greed, illusion, and pride are included in envy. So, you see, envy means there must be pride. That's a fact. Because if I'm humble, then I will immediately accept that someone is superior than me. And that will not budge me. I will just accept it as a fact. So this pride here is immediately before envy. When one is too proud, it will become envious. How is Vaiṣṇava Dharma non-envious religion? Vaiṣṇava Dharma consists of compassion for the fallen souls. Yes. Sarva Sukham Bhavantu. So, only Vaiṣṇava Dharma speaks of Sarva Sukham Bhavantu. Let everyone be happy. Everyone. Without any distinction. Other so-called philosophies, religions and all, there's always a discrimination that these people, no. But when you come to the level of spirit soul, everybody is spirit, then only you can have this unity. You can have the complete and compensing oneness, that everyone is part and parcel of God. Not that I'm very pious religious person, but the animals are useless, they have no soul, let me send them to the slaughterhouse, or only our religion is best and all others. No. Again, palena parichyate. We have to see by the result. Therefore, Bhagavad Dharma is very liberal. It doesn't say this type of religion is the best. They misunderstand. They say, Hinduism or this. No, it's not like that. Because what is Hinduism? Hinduism is an amalgamation of religious principles, occupational duties, for all classes of men. That is Varnashram Dharma. So there's so many religious systems. So when Bhagavad Dharma says that religious system which is the best, which one? That which help the performer develop love of God. That is the best religious system. So it doesn't discriminate. It's not that it's attacking other religion, like maybe Islam or Christian. No, it's speaking of all religion, even within the Varnashram institution. Because there are so many religious systems. There's Karma Kanda section, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. All these things are there. And there are different religious practice. So, amongst everything in existence that labels itself as being religion, that is the best which the performer will develop love of God. So it's not saying this is the best. Not like that. It is saying which one is the which one is the best by the result. So that's how we should see. So okay, let's go back here. Sorry. Vaiṣṇava Dharma consists of compassion for the fallen soul, eagerness in chanting the Lord's holy names and serving the Vaishnavas. It stands on one side and envy stands on the other side at its opposite. So where there is true Vaiṣṇava Dharma, there cannot be any envy. What is the living entity's liberation and bondage? Non-enviousness is the cause of the living entity's liberation, and enviousness the cause of their bondage. And concerning this non-enviousness, Srila Prabhupada stated that this Krishna consciousness movement can be spread only on that basis. What is that? That the preacher should have the desire that let me try to help everyone. Let me try to bring the best to everyone. So to become a world-class preacher, like Srila Prabhupada, it cannot be done artificially. It's not by studying very hard and so on. One has to come to the point of giving up sense gratification completely, so that he can really feel this compassion for every living entity. So that should come, you see. We're performing devotional service, we're chanting 16 rounds and all, but unless we feel genuine compassion for other living entities, we are not actually, coming to a higher stage of devotional service. So preacher means this, he's compassionate. It cannot be artificially done, just like we have many so-called preachers in our movement. They make video, they'll give classes and so on, and they'll tell stories and this and that. But do they have this compassion, for all living entities? Of course, this is a very high platform. This is on the level of Uttamadhikari. The Madhyamadhikari also has got compassion, but there's some discrimination in his compassion. Yeah, that's another point here. Madhyamadhikari still has envy, but towards demons. So this is how we have to actually make the proper use of envy. Because we have read it. Okay, what is envy? To become happy at someone's distress and distress at someone's happiness. So that should be applied to demons. When a demon is being vanquished, we should be happy. And when a demon is being, is becoming more and more powerful, we should not be happy. We should think, because it's inauspicious. So that is the mood of a preacher. The Madhyamadhikari, he will see like this, you see. So envy should be applied towards the demons. And we should be very, very careful not to say that, no, even demons, we should show love to them. That is not for us, and if we imitate the Uttamadhikari, we will fall down. And this is why actually, the Uttamadhikari comes down to the second level. He comes down to the discriminatory platform, because the Uttamadhikari actually he cannot preach, because he sees everyone as more advanced than he. So where's this the meaning of preaching? If you sit in a room and all the devotees in the room have 50 years in the movement, why are you going to try to instruct any of them? No, because your understanding is that all of them are so much more senior than me. So what can I say here? So the Uttamadhikari has actually this vision. He's really feelingly thinking that he's the most fallen. So what can he preach? Preacher means you need to be understanding that your position is better than the person you're trying to help. And that is not pride, that is based on knowledge. The preacher should also try to understand his own position. That is important. So I think maybe we can go quickly here, because this is an important aspect. So these 2 points, that to know one's own position and to not try to imitate, right? So these 2 points are mentioned in Nectar of Instruction Mantra 5. Just give me a second here. Okay, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains nicely this point. Here, yes, here we got it. All right. So, person. Sorry, almost there. Okay. Okay. Some content were supposed to be great picture as well in my explanation. Sorry. Okay. Okay. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Kṛṣṇa, he loses interest in everything but Kṛṣṇa's service. Always thinking of Kṛṣṇa, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Kṛṣṇa, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes. So, indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaiṣṇava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. So here we see that the Uttamadhikari, he is fully self-realized and he understands that his business is to help all living entities. So it's not something artificial. Here, however, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavata without being self-realized, for by such imitation one will eventually become degraded. So the Mahabhagavata is the Jagat Guru. He is the spiritual master of the entire world. So if I take the position as if I also can initiate disciples throughout the whole world and become, the great Acharya, write many books, I'm imitating the Mahabhagavata. This is not the field. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you become spiritual master. That's all right, but in your own means, in your own level. Not necessarily that you have to become Diksha Guru. Shiksha Guru also can be there. So we should become spiritual master, but a husband instructing the wife and children is also a spiritual master. That is also proper, but within his own realm. There's no artificial show off, And also the fact the non-discriminatory vision of the Mahabhagavata cannot be imitated. If we do so, if we don't discriminate, then we will become degraded. Okay, here, in this verse, Śrīla Rupa Goswami advises the devotees to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari. And here, the devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. That is a very important sentence, very important sentence. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. So, 2 things very important here. We have to know where we stand. But how to know? Through Shastra, not through how I feel. Oh, I think I'm there. I think I'm a, Nishta platform now. No, Ruchi. Yeah, Ruchi. No, yesterday in Kirtan I was jumping high, Asakti, I think, Asakti. Yeah. Not like that. We have to see through Shastra. So by reading Shastra with an objective perspective, where I am. No, but not with a proud attitude, okay? It's not like that. But through Shastra, we should try to understand our position. And we should try to know who others are. In other words, we should become a Madhyamadhikari. Because the Madhyamadhikari is seeing through Shastra and he knows how to distinguish. This person is on that level, that person is on that level, this person is on that level. He can see because he accepts Shastra. He has faith, you see. And should not try to imitate a devotee on a higher platform. That is so important. That means what? Kanishtadhikari should not try to imitate the Madhyam or the Uttama. And Madhyamadhikari should not try to imitate the Uttama. So especially that instruction is especially there for Kanishtadhikari. Because if you're Kanishtadhikari, neophyte devotee, and you try to preach, you will not be successful and you will introduce so many concoctions. Because Kanishtadhikari means he has no faith in Shastra. So if you have no faith in Shastra, what you will speak? Where you will speak from? So you'll introduce your own philosophy. And this is a big thing in our movement that is going on now. A lot of speculation is happening. Okay, let us continue to define envy. Can an envious person feel compassion for other living entities, develop faith in the Vaiṣṇavas, and become lower than the straw on the street? A person who feels distressed upon seeing others' happiness can never show compassion to other living entities. He cannot worship the Supreme Lord with a simple mind. Due to his perverted nature, he maintains hatred and enviousness towards the Vaiṣṇavas. You see, he still has hatred and enviousness towards the Vaiṣṇavas, even though he's a devotee, because here we're speaking of a devotee here. It is to be understood that a person who has completely divested himself of envy has actually understood the purport of Trinadapi Sahishnuna. The Krishna consciousness movement aims at creating an atmosphere of non-envy. Of course, it is not possible for everyone to become Krishna conscious, but they should strive for that aim. Okay, while we're here, we'll go to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhala karte pari na, manda karte pari, ekana kiti bitabal. I cannot do any good, but I can harm you. Now tell me, what will you give me in return for this? So here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is giving us a glimpse into the mind of someone who's envious. I cannot do any good, but I can harm you. Now, because I'm harming you, tell me what you're going to do for me in return. So not only he's harming, but he wants you to become his servant also for that harmful behavior. There's a proverb in Sanskrit, asakto ham griharambhe sakto ham grihabhanjane. I am so incapable that I cannot begin the work of building a house, but I'm especially expert in turning even a big palace into dust. This is the character of envious and wicked persons. People of low nature are capable of spoiling the work of others, but are unable to do any good for anyone. A rat can easily spoil many invaluable books, clothes, or stocks of grains, but cannot produce any of these. As a result of great fortune, the seed of sincere faith in God and His devotees can sprout in the heart of a living entity. Even after the performance of hundreds of births of renunciation and austerities, one cannot attain even a particle of faith. So then what it is to the means of developing that faith. So that is the antidote. The antidote to get rid of this envy is sadhu sangha. We have to associate with more advanced devotees. And what is this association, right? Association does not simply mean sitting next to someone. Association means we need to hear. We need to hear from other devotees. We should not think that we are above consulting anyone else. That is very dangerous. If we think we're above consulting anyone else, then we think that no one on the planet can tell me something that I don't already know. When you have this type of mentality, you are done. You're finished. Because how you will make any advancement? And that's why we get criticized a lot, Sometimes, for example, those who have accepted the Ritvik system of initiation, they are criticized by other devotees because they say, you do not go to authority. And that is actually correct to some extent, that some devotees, they will accept this so-called Ritvik system of initiation under the plea of, there's no bona fide gurus, there's no bona fide shiksha guru, so I will remain on my own. So in this way, they don't want to be consulting anyone else. That is very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And Srila Prabhupada speaks of this. Yes. Okay. We can... what this person can tell me that I don't already know, I won't attend the class. If someone doesn't attend lectures from devotees, that is dangerous. Of course, one might think, well, I listen to Prabhupada. I'm listening to Prabhupada every day. Prabhupada's classes, yes. But Prabhupada, in his book, he says sadhu sangha. Prabhupada said that you establish centers, you establish temples, and every morning there should be Bhagavatam class. Prabhupada knew very well that his Bhagavatam lectures were recorded. He did not say, every morning you play my class in the temple. No need that the devotees give class. Prabhupada did not say and you have to think about that. His classes are definitely, he's a Mahabhagavata, he's Duttamadhikari, so why not just play this? Well, the sadhu sangha is necessary because to be humble in front of Srila Prabhupada's murti and Prabhupada's lecture is very different than being humble in front of a physically present devotee. These are two different things. We have to curb that mentality of being trying to remain independent. We have to get physical guidance, shiksha guru. That is very important because the spiritual master is not always physically present, Prabhupada says. So when he's no longer there, what do? You must still continue to associate with devotees, take guidance. Not that I shall do something without consulting anyone else. That is dangerous. And Prabhupada speaks of this here. But everybody is just a Kanishta Adhikari. What can they teach me? I'm the only Madhyama Adhikari. That is the mentality. Okay, yeah. Let me share as a tab only. Sorry. Let me share, yeah, as a tab like this. Okay. This is Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Text 23. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of tulasi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Okay, yes. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. When a man dies, he is called dead, but when he again appears in a subtle form, not visible to our present vision, and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost-like non-devotees who have no respect for the pure devotee, nor for the Vishnu deity in the temple, create a fearful situation for the devotees at all times. The Lord never accepts any offerings by such impure ghosts. Okay, why would such person offer something to the Lord? That means we are speaking here of actually a devotee. In appearance at least. Right? Because similarly, the ghost-like non-devotees who have no respect for the pure devotee, nor for the Vishnu deity in the temples, create a... So here, no respect for the Vishnu deity, but at the same time, Prabhupada says, the Lord doesn't accept their offerings. That means they are actually worshipping, so-called worshipping the Vishnu deity. They're offering things to the Vishnu deity. But the Lord never accepts any offerings from such impure ghosts. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. So we see many Hindus, they offer deity to Kṛṣṇa. First of all, they tend to have Kṛṣṇa alone. And then they offer directly to Kṛṣṇa like that. And Kṛṣṇa is not going to accept that. It's not prasadam. No way. How can that be? You have not gotten initiated. You're not going to the devotees. You think that you can understand Kṛṣṇa directly. And you have Kṛṣṇa alone without Srimati Radharani. Everything is not properly done. So Kṛṣṇa is not your order supplier that he has to remove the sins of your food stuff for your own sense pleasure. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. Sincerity is the key. The first condition of devotional service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who has also served another pure devotee. That is the way of pure disciplic succession or devotional parampara. Mahārāja Rahugana inquired from the great saint Jada Bharata as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of a Paramahamsa. And in answer, the great saint replied as follows: Rahugana itat tapasa nayati, nache jaya nirvapanad grahadva, nat chandasa naiva jalagni suryair, vina mahatpado rajobhishekam. O King Rahugana, the perfectional stage of devotional service, or the Paramahamsa stage of life, cannot be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. That's it. It is never attained by tapasya, the Vedic worshipping process, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of duties of householder life, the chanting of Vedic hymns, or the performance of penance in the hot sun within cold water before the blazing fire. So, it's not even by, waking up very, very early in the morning, eating little, no. Or Vedic worship process is not even by worshipping the deity. Not even by worshipping the deity. If one worships the deity but does not follow the instructions of the pure devotee, there's no way he will attain success. Except you can become a sannyas, it doesn't matter. In other words, Lord Shri Krishna is the property of his pure, unconditional devotees. This is another very important point. Krishna Shetomar, Krishna Dite Paro. You have Krishna, you can give him to me. And Prabhupada in the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, text 16, he explains in the purport that unless one is initiated by a devotee who always carries the Supreme Lord within his heart, one cannot acquire the Supreme Lord within one's own heart. In other words, if you do not please the pure devotee, you don't become initiated by a pure devotee Mahabhagavat, there is no way that you will also be able one day to carry the Lord within your heart. And as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bhartuhu Padakamalayuro Dasa Dasa Nudasa, or the most obedient servant of the servants of the Lord, who maintains the Gopi damsels at Vrindavan. A pure devotee therefore never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servants. The servant of the Lord's servants. So in our position here, who is the Lord's servant? We know that Srila Prabhupada has got a direct relationship with the Lord. This is something else. Sometimes some so-called guru will say that you offer to me, I offer to my spiritual master. He offers to his spiritual master. He offers to his spiritual master. And in this way it goes all the way back to Krishna. Actually, it is not so. If you offer to your spiritual master, he offers to the Lord directly. It's not a disrespect to his spiritual master, but the point is that he is on the level of seeing Krishna directly. So they are dodging the fact that the devotee should be a pure devotee with this so-called philosophy that I give to my spiritual master, I give to my, and this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. So becoming a guru simply means that passing, you give me something, passing. Why would your spiritual master accepts the offering if you're not following his instruction concerning becoming guru? If you become guru of your own accord, why would the spiritual master accept your offering? You disobey. And thus the Lord becomes pleased, and only then can the devotee relish the state of the tulsi leaf stuck to his lotus feet. So servant of a servant for us means also serving the devotees of Srila Prabhupada. To serve the devotee who are engaged in Srila Prabhupada's service is more exalted than serving Srila Prabhupada directly. Because that is humility. You see, that is, Srila Prabhupada has got some sincere devotees in this world who are trying to push the movement. If I'm thinking, let me try to help them or serve them into that mission, that is humility. And in this way we can advance. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures. Vede Shudurlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktao. But he is very easily approachable through his pure devotee. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. Srimati Radharani is the tender-hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Very nice description. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. Now, someone might say, yes, I live in Vrindavan and I worship Srimati Radharani. But Prabhupada said, don't think you can approach Srimati Radharani without first of all having the blessing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And don't think you can approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without first having the blessing of Nityananda Prabhu. And don't think you can approach Nityananda Prabhu without having the blessings of the 6 Goswamis. And don't think you can approach the 6 Goswamis without having the blessing of your spiritual master. So, you see, although Prabhupada does state that Srimati Radharani's mercy is there, yes, but everything is included in pleasing the spiritual master. So there's no question of jumping. It's always trying to bring us back, be humble, bow down, it's because we have to hammer that independent nature. Always it's coming back, no, you're a great learned scholar, you're a great preacher. Always Maya would be whispering into your ear. So you need to know, I'm giving this session how to be freed from envy of that, not because, I'm completely freed, I have no such thought. Such thoughts still come into my mind. That Maya whispers. So no, you must cut with intelligence. Intelligence. That is the thing, because the mind, when the mind becomes corrupted, there might be such whispers from Maya that, you're a better devotee than this devotee. He's not doing that much. You're doing more, actually. What you're doing, he will not be able to do. All these things will come. So we must cut that off. No, nonsense. So that is important. That is, we have to be able to see those unwanted creepers. Prabhupada writes, in these verses concerning Vaiṣṇava Ninda, Vaiṣṇava Parad, concerning the Bhaktilata Bij. So Srila Prabhupada says that one should recognize, one should see that here's an unwanted creeper, and should uproot the unwanted creeper from the beginning. You should not let them grow. So this envy towards other devotees is destroying, it is destruction. Now, the conclusion is therefore that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly. And by one's doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. So we should not think that this is only Prabhupada, I can go to Prabhupada directly. No, by pleasing Prabhupada's dear servants, we can also please the Lord. Actually, there's something I wanted to share, 1:135. Although this is a good verse, this was not the one about not consulting anyone else. It is CC. Okay, Adilila 135 purport, yes. That's it. So, in the CC, Adi 135. So this is a very important verse also concerning Guru, concerning taking guidance. I don't think we'll be reading the whole thing, but so this is Adi 135. I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual masters. Yes, you see. So, yeah. So if one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with devotees of Shri Krishna. For by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love, and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation in terms of the specific transcendental melo, rasa, that one has eternally inherent in him. So sadhu sangha again is stressed. Now, the secret is a message. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. So preceptor here is called the Shiksha Guru. So Prabhupada gave many instructions, but all these instructions, how do they apply to a specific devotee in a particular situation, in a particular place? So that has to be done by the preceptor, by the Shiksha Guru. So the Shiksha Guru will know, according to Prabhupada's instructions, how to guide the disciple. A devotee already attracted by the name, form, quality, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. Yes, so he need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. That's the thing. So Shiksha Guru will know this, Actually, how this, those of you who might know our YouTube channel, so you know that we are making vlogs, we are making some videos. So how did that start? It all started because of the mercy of His Grace Srila Gopal Prabhu. In the beginning, I had shown, if you go on my channel and you see the very first video I've done like a short 2-minute video for Srila Prabhupada's pictures, and I think it was also a bhajan of Srila Prabhupada. That was all. It was something very simple. And when I showed that to His Grace Srila Gopal Prabhu back in 2014, I think, I had just shown this very simple video. I said, Prabhu, you see, I've edited this video here, and I've shown him, and he saw this. And then not long later, he said, you should do a video on, about the initiation process, Ritvik system of initiation, and so on. So immediately he picked up on that. So because he gave me this inspiration to make videos, that's what I started to do. So you see, he knew how to engage me. I had not understood how. In the beginning, a devotee will speculate so much. Like when I had not come in touch with the devotees and I had just started chanting Hare Krishna and just started to read Prabhupada books, I thought how to preach in China. And one thing I thought was, that TV series, the Mahārāja, the latest one, like 2012? I don't know. So I thought to pay someone to write Chinese subtitles was devotional service. I thought, I'll pay someone to write and I'll translate that whole series like that. I thought this was my idea. So a neophyte devotee has got so many speculations. So he has to be engaged by the advanced devotee. In this way, he'll be able to use his natural propensity into the Lord's service, and that will be very nice. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in the scriptures, acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There's no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual master one may accept. Okay. Yes. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. So initiation is very important. Not just that I accept Prabhupada within my heart, that's enough. No, initiation has to be there. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress towards spiritual realization. With the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quote this verse, because Prabhupada here is speaking of the verse of one who does not accept a spiritual master is like a ship without a captain. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quote this verse to actually refer to the Shiksha Guru. So how important the Shiksha Guru is. Okay. Okay, here. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accepts a bona fide spiritual master in terms of shastric injunctions. Very important here. If one thinks that he's above consulting means someone you can approach physically. So this is something that, maybe some of you don't know, but I have been initiated through the Ritvik system of initiation. And I can feel that it is working, because Srila Prabhupada is there as the spiritual master of the institution, and we have got physically present Shiksha Guru. And our parampara, there's many examples like that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was actually the Shiksha disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, and he was the Shiksha Guru of Gorakishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Gorakishore Das Babaji Maharaj had great affection and admiration for Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but he was never officially initiated. Yet, we see them, the pictures are there, the parampara is going on. So the transfer of transcendental knowledge is actually the real thing. So this transfer, where do we get the knowledge from? Everyone in ISKCON, or everyone that is a bona fide devotee now on the planet, where does he get the knowledge from? From Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's books is what is actually, holding the whole thing together, everybody together. So this system of having the physically present initiating the Shiksha Guru is a must. You cannot avoid that. It's not possible. You cannot say that I shall remain alone. No, you must. So therefore, we are criticized sometimes by the ISKCON party that you do not accept a physical guru, a living guru. Of course, this term is not nice because it means there's something as dead guru. But it means physically present person. So no, we do. We accept. It's a fact. And we agree with that without physical guidance, you will not make proper progress. You have to go to guru. And he has to be a proper representative, not rubber stamped. Okay. And then, such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that the serious person accepts a bona fide spiritual master in terms of shastric injunctions, not by ecclesiastical convention that here's an appointed guru because we have voted him to be guru. That is not in terms of shastric injunction. That's another topic. So, okay, I feel I'm a bit slow when it comes to speaking about the quotes about envy. So let us maybe go back to this. Yeah. Okay, so we can speak of this one as well as okay, there's a few verses we can go see. So are you seeing this? Yeah. Alright. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 4.8.34. Every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate toward him. And when he meets someone equal to him, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. Just see. If we feel distresses, that means we are not acting in this way. And Prabhupada speaks of how conditioned souls generally think. Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. So this is the thing, even within the realm of the devotees, even within our movement. If we see that, oh, this devotee is more advanced than me, or, he's doing more than me, and I've become envious of him, then the purification is surely not done. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. Yeah. Who is that? Who is this person? Who cares for him? No money. Look, I'm so wealthy, right? I've got so much money. This person is a pauper. So very undermining anyone's position. And this killing of animal is also based on envy, right? What is this insignificant thing that is there, with 4 legs, just moving about like useless, like just eating grass and making noise? What is that thing? Just kill it, cut it, and fry it. Let's eat the body. What a useless thing. They become happy. I kill the cow. I will enjoy nice cow meat, right? And what are all these cows doing freely? Useless cows like that. So envy towards other. You cannot. Those who are meat eaters are envious, right? Envious of other living entity. They're envious of animals. How dare you exist? This is my world. This is my kingdom. How dare you go about and roam in the pasturing grounds and feel peaceful and happy? Useless creature. Just see, this is the mentality of meat eaters. How can they be good? How can a meat eater be a good person? And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. Yeah, we show off, Oh yeah, that person is like me, Yeah, we both are in the same thing. Look, I've done this, These are the causes of all material tribulations. The great sage Narana therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. Yes, we should be happy that other devotees are making spiritual progress. We should be happy for them. Jai. That devotee has done something nice. Jai. That devotee is building a temple. Jai. Haribol. That devotee has made a nice video. Haribol. We should be happy. And we should voice out also. we should say it, you know. To not, I mean, I don't want to be, finding fault or agitating too much, but we've got some groups. We've got some groups of devotees like on WhatsApp or Telegram and all. And devotees share their preaching activity. They share, their prasadam distribution or book distribution. And the people who encourage or who reacts, or at least that put the small emoticon, right? You long press and then you can put like a heart. 10, 15 maybe, at times 20 devotees in a group of 100 plus. Why are not other devotees reciprocating? How hard is it to long press and put a heart? That is the antidote. That is how we'll be able to give up envy. We need to do these things. Appreciating another devotee's devotional activities publicly is good for us. It's a humility. Jai, you've done nicely. Oh, you're distributing nice books. Good, nice, you're doing so nice. Good, continue. Keep sharing. We have to do this. If we simply remain quiet, why? It doesn't take anything. Especially now that they have invented recently, right, this long press, and you can put them. Before, I can understand you might not want to disturb, right? Because if every time you post something distributing prasadam distribution, then you'll get 50 message following. Oh wow, very nice, very nice. No, but now they have fixed that. Long press, you put a jai, haribo, like heart or thumbs up, whatever. So you don't disturb. So how hard is that? It doesn't take 1 second even. So why aren't we doing it? That devotee went to some endeavor, is it not? That devotee might be alone in his area, and he's going out to distribute some fruits or something, anything, it doesn't matter. It's hard to do this. Let's encourage them. So I would like to see more reciprocation from devotees in our groups, especially more, Instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate toward him just to raise him to the proper standard. Yes. So not, how dare you not show me any respect? Even if someone does not show respect, even if someone is agitative or something, we should tolerate. We should try to help the person. Recently there was an incident. Of course, it has been solved. Everybody makes mistake, and it's not a big thing. But in one of our group, many inactive numbers were deleted. We have removed many of the inactive people. So this was not based on this verse here, that we have to be compassionate towards such people. Somehow or other they joined the group. Somehow or other they wanted to come, right? So they have accepted to join the group at one point. So that at least this little thing is there. Now they might not be very active, okay, or they might not be reading the messages, but at least, who knows, maybe in the future they'll get a chance, and that will help them. So to simply on the plea of trying to keep the group, with less people or like that, that is a little bit thinking that, you're not respecting me. We're posting all these quotes and all, and you just stay there, taking space. So we should be tolerant. Of course, sometimes there's some management issue, maybe the program will work less. So it's according to time, place, and circumstance. But generally, the point here is this, is that to people who are inferior, who are less qualified, who are less advanced spiritually, we have to try to raise him to the proper standard. So we should continue with that mentality to try to help. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Kṛṣṇa. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. Yeah, so Prabhupada is clearly showing how we can reciprocate with any type of people. So superior, equal, and inferior. And if we do these things, we won't feel distressed. Because what is misery? Misery arises because we have got this conception that things are meant for my enjoyment. Other people also. And if they're not reciprocating properly with my terms of this enjoyment that I have, then I feel distressed. But if we think that I'm a servant of the Lord and these people are there and let me try to serve them or reciprocate with them in the way that it's been done here, then we can easily be freed from material miseries. Okay. Let's go here now. Are you seeing this? Oh, no. Okay. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1, Text 9. Yes. The all-pervading personality of Godhead exists within the heart of every living being, and an expert thinker can perceive how he is present there to a large or small extent. That's another topic, but we can actually start perceive the Lord, how he's present within the heart by some analyzing the inner movement of mind intelligence and so on. Just as one can understand the supply of fire and wood, the water in a pot, or the sky within a pot, one can understand whether a living entity is a demon or a demigod by understanding that living entity's devotional performances. Okay, wait a second. One can understand whether a living entity is a demon or a demigod by understanding that living entity's devotional performances. Just see, here we speak of demon and devotional performances. A thoughtful man can understand how much a person is favored by the Supreme Lord by seeing his actions. Yes, so it's by the actions that we can see how much one is favored. Now we need to know what is the actual result. That's another thing. We should not think that I understand what a proper result is. We should also see through Shastra. Because if we say making disciples is the proof, then Sadguru or all of these gurus are very much successful. No, we should see the quality of the disciples. Okay, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada states something very important. Yeah. In Bhagavad Gita 10:41, the Lord says, Yad yad vibhuti mat sadvam shrimad urjitam eva va tat tat evagachadvam mama tejam shasambhavam. Know that all beautiful, glorious and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Okay, here's important. Prabhupada speaks of his own experience. We have the practical experience of seeing that one person is able to do very wonderful things, whereas another cannot do the same things and cannot even do things that require only a little common sense. And we can see that. Some devotees can do, more wonderful devotional activities, and some devotees are stuck, not even capable of doing any. Of course, this does not just apply to devotees, but we are speaking of devotee, envy toward devotee. Therefore, how much a devotee has been favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be tested by the activities the devotee has performed. Okay. Okay. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Yes, this is very practical. A teacher instructs a student if the student is capable of taking more and more instructions. You see? So it's actually on the capacity of the student. Not that Prabhupada will give us all instructions to all the students. No, he sees who is qualified to receive more. Who is qualified to receive more. Otherwise, in spite of being instructed by the teacher, the student cannot make strides in his understanding. This has nothing to do with partiality. When Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam, this indicates that Krishna is prepared to give bhakti yoga to everyone, but one must be capable of receiving it. So it depends on the recipient. That is the secret. So everybody, all of us, we can become pure devotees within this life, but it depends on us. Are we willing to? Thus, when a person exhibits wonderful devotional activities, a thoughtful man understands that Krishna has been more favorable to this devotee. Yes. So we can understand this devotee is more advanced than me. Krishna is bestowing more and more mercy. That is not difficult to understand, but envious persons do not accept that Krishna has bestowed his favor upon a particular devotee in accordance with his advanced position. So there are devotees that are envious and that will not accept that this devotee is more advanced than me. Such foolish persons become envious and try to minimize an advanced devotee's activities. Yes. And this we have seen in Srila Prabhupada's life, how his god brothers were so envious of him. When Prabhupada went back to India in 1970, that was the first time that he had brought his disciples, well, in a big way, He did bring, Kirtanananda Mahārāja at that time, like very early, 1968, I believe. But 1970, he went back with many of his disciples, and then he had them do Sankirtan, Prabhupada World Sankirtan Party. So anyway, so when he met his god brothers, he pleaded with them. He said, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Swami Prabhupada wanted us to cooperatively work together. So he told them, I have got buses. I can give you each one bus and many men. You are all experienced preacher. I give you one bus and some of my disciples that will follow you, And you can go on and preach. He said, the only thing is that I want that my books be distributed in this preaching engagement. So he stressed on the books. None of them have accepted, In fact, many of them criticized Srila Prabhupada. They criticized, some of them said that how you are initiating mlechas, you're making brahmanas out of mlechas, They were not eating the prasadam prepared by Prabhupada's disciples. Because mlecha yavan, and Prabhupada did reply to one letter at one point, one god brother asking for money. He said, yeah, I can give you some money, but this money comes from the mlechas and yavanas. I don't think that is good for a brahmana like you to accept, because that same god brother had not accepted prasadam, cooked by your disciples, mlecha yavana. So how you don't accept the prasadam from the mlechas, but you accept the money from the mlechas? So Prabhupada was also very, tit for tat, quick-witted. So, yes, so they always try to undermine him, some of them more than others. For example, of course, we don't want to be getting too much into that, but we know that some of them have reinitiated disciples of Prabhupada, even though while Prabhupada was physically there, even after his departure, it's an offense, but while physically present, it's even more. And they spoke a lot against Prabhupada, trying to undermine him always. Gaudiya Math became famous simply because of Srila Prabhupada. Before that, Gaudiya Math was, who knew? Nobody knew any of them. It's simply because Prabhupada brought the devotees to India that they had they appeared to be, preachers. So Prabhupada continues by saying, that is not Vaishnavism. A Vaiṣṇava should appreciate the service rendered to the Lord by other Vaishnavas. Yes, that is Vaishnavism. We should appreciate and voice it out also. You've done nicely, great service. Therefore, Vaishnava is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as Nirmatsara. Vaishnavas are never envious of other Vaishnavas or of anyone else. And therefore, they are called Nirmatsaranam Satam. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So Prabhupada is telling us here that there are devotees who are envious, and what to speak. What to speak of like neophytes, us who are just beginning. Prabhupada is referring to his god brothers, whom at that time had been probably chanting Hare Krishna for some 50 years, some of them, So it has nothing to do with how long one took initiation actually. Although, according to the Vaiṣṇava etiquettes, it's like that we see who is senior, who is not, by the time of initiation. So externally, Vaiṣṇava etiquettes, yes, we show appreciation to one who's more senior. But actually it's not like that. Actually it's to the qualities that the devotee has developed. That's how we can see who is more or less senior. How much he has developed the qualities of a Vaiṣṇava. So to be envious of another devotee, how can we say that this is Vaishnavism? No. We have to appreciate that this devotee is more advanced than me. Good for him. That is wonderful. I'm very happy. And this takes humility. This takes humility, no doubt. So, yes. So therefore, hearing from devotees will make us humble. Hearing from devotees, attending live lectures, calling a devotee, revealing our mind, or texting a devotee. Prabhu, I don't know what to do now. I feel like this. Could you advise me? That is very good. Instead of, I'm full of trouble, I'm always disturbed every day, but I'll never contact any devotee. I'll never reveal my mind. Then how? How you will advance? It's not possible. We must approach. Prabhu, I've done this. How can I advance? How can I rectify my mistake? These things that will save one, because that means that person is humble. Because if you go to someone for guidance, that means you accept this person is more advanced than me, or you accept that this person can help me advance spiritually. So that is humility, and Krishna is pleased by that. Tad vidi pranipatena, right? We have to approach with humility, Prabhu. How like this, and we all have some authority. No one is above any authority. It's not possible. So just like now we are giving this class, but when I myself need guidance, I go to someone. His Grace Srila Prabhupada. I ask. Sometimes I ask other devotees also, what do you think of this? Is this correct? Do you think it's good? But I ask also. So it's not that I speak but I don't hear. No, I must hear also. So yes, we have to and okay, yes, that's the point I wanted to speak of that kept going off. So Prabhupada speaks in his book that a neophyte devotee is invariably, he says, envious. Yes. Okay, yeah. This is Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Text 24. Let me share that screen here. So this is an important point. That's the point I wanted to stress here. So that's a very important verse, but it's a bit different. But okay, so certainly that heart is still framed, which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and the hairs stand on end. So these changes should be occurring. These are signs of spiritual advancement. If we get hair standing on end, if we get teary eyes, some ecstasy take place. So Shastra is telling us that these are like landmarks, right? When you go to a city, sometimes you have some landmarks. So these are sort of pinpoints that we can understand that, okay, I'm doing something proper. And if these things don't happen, then we should try to understand what is it that I'm doing wrong. Okay, and here in the envious, yeah. The whole process can be summarized as follows. The advanced devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord in a perfectly offenseless manner and is friendly to everyone can actually relish the transcendental taste of glorifying the Lord. And the result of such realization is reflected in the cessation of all material desires. Yes, all material desires should be vanquished from the heart. That is the test. As mentioned above, the neophytes, due to their being in the lower stage of devotional service, are invariably envious. So much so that they invent their own ways and means of devotional regulations without following the acharyas. Okay, so there's so much that we can speak about that. But my point here is that the neophytes, which is every devotee has to go through the neophyte stage. Who doesn't go? If one is seen to be very advanced from the beginning, that means he's done his advancement in a past life, But for most devotees, we all have to go through this. And invariably envious. So much so that they invent their own ways and means of devotional regulations without following the acharyas. So there was all of us, there was some time when we were like this. We were not taking guidance from senior devotees. We were speculating, or maybe we're still within that stage even. We should not think that, now I'm completely freed from envy and so on. No, we should double check, right? Always double check whether or not I am still in that stage. So the point is this, is that all of us, we have to go through this stage of becoming freed from envy. And we should address this topic, and we should speak about it and reveal our mind also. It's good that if I feel some envy from one devotee, that I reveal my mind. I approach a devotee and I say, Prabhu, I'm feeling like this, because because it's shameful, there's no doubt that we can feel some shame that I'm feeling envy towards this devotee. But if we're capable of revealing the mind, that is a great step in trying to fix the issue. Because without being very humble, one cannot do that. It occurred a few times, that a devotee contacted me. He sent me a message, and Prabhu, I've had some very bad thoughts against you, and I'm very sorry that I've done that, and so on. And immediately I was thinking, wow, I was actually humbled by his humility, that you're having some thoughts, and no one is telling you to do that, you're on your own, and you're contacting me and telling me that you've done that. So I had absolutely no grudge against him. I actually told him, I said, what you've done is really commendable, that you're capable of sending me this message after having bad. So it's very nice. And it even occurred another Mataji in Singapore at one point. She was saying, I had some bad thoughts against you. I've spoken bad against you in the beginning, but now I can see, so on, so on. So that is very nice. That is good. And that will free one's heart, If we just keep it inside, then that is, the disease can creep, right? It can spread. It can become more and more and more. So in order to protect ourselves from that, we must associate with devotee. And what they have done is exactly that, associating. And going to the person itself. That's another thing. Okay, we can come to this point now. After, that's actually the picture that we have used in today. Okay. So these devotees, they fake it. If they don't want to approach someone for guidance, as such, even if they make a show of constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord, they cannot relish the transcendental taste of the holy name. We have many show maker chanter in the movement, big kirtaniyas who have got the Rasta hairstyle with 10,000 earrings, and and they are so-called big Radhadhesh Melo leaders, and so on. Therefore, the show of tears in their eyes, trembling, perspiration, and unconsciousness is condemned. They can, however, get in touch with the pure devotee of the Lord and rectify their bad habits. You see, again, sadhu sangha, taking guidance from pure devotees. And pure devotee applies also to the Madhyama Bhakta. Madhyama Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung. So Prabhupada says, first class pure devotee, second class pure devotee. Otherwise they shall continue to be stone-hearted and unfit for any treatment. A complete progressive march on the return path home back to Godhead will depend on the instructions of the revealed scriptures directed by a realized devotee. That's it. You cannot make it back to Krishna if you don't approach a devotee that can guide you. That is it. There's no going around that. You can say, no, I'm a Raganuga Bhakta, I don't need that. You can find so many excuses. If you don't surrender to an authority that's going to tell you, this is right, this is wrong. Because that is the process that Krishna has said. Tadvidi pranipatena, he says, approach someone. Tadvigyanartam sagurum evabhigachet. Samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Right? All these verses are there that you must go to Guru, to authority. You must. So, concerning approaching the person whom we have offended, that is the whole, today's picture that I've used for the class was Ambarīṣa Maharaj having been offended by Dhruva Maharaj, right? So we can go see this verse, which is, where is this? It's in the, I don't know if you're hearing voice. There's a lot of noise happening. The Mataji have just come back from another city actually. They were not there during the day. So I'm a little bit distracted with all this, giving a class amongst all this. It's a one-directional microphone, so it's not picking up the voice from behind, but I can hear it. Okay, sorry, where is this? Yes, okay, that's it. So Durvasa Muni, he offended Ambarīṣa Maharaj, and he went first of all to Brahma, then Shiva, then he went to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu instructed him as follows. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4, Text 71. O best of the Brahmanas, you should therefore go immediately to King Ambarīṣa, the son of Mahārāja Ambarīṣa. I wish you all good fortune. If you can satisfy Mahārāja Ambarīṣa, then there will be peace for you. So even Kṛṣṇa cannot help you if you become envious of a devotee. You must go to that devotee or associate with that devotee. Hear from him. In this regard, Madhva Muni quotes from the Garuda Purana. The lesson to be derived from this narration concerning Mahārāja Ambarīṣa and Durvasa Muni is that all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are under the control of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, when a Vaiṣṇava is offended, the offender is punished by Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. No one can protect such a person, even Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. So, that's the thing. We have to go to the person whom we are offending or that we feel envy against. That will protect us. Oh, sorry, I was not sharing. Anyway, so that is the verse here. That is the purport. Yes. So hearing from that person, revealing our mind to that person, that is the secret of success. Okay. So this, and that is also described. Prabhupada says that this offense, fault, blaspheme. So I want to go to the mad elephant verses now. Because, okay, yes, that's it. Because if we become envious towards a devotee, we'll be finished. We won't last. It's not possible. So therefore, we have to detect that envy. So how to detect again? Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, when you see a devotee, okay, he's giving, maybe nice class, or he's disputing so many books, whatever it is, if we become unhappy, like, what can I, he's being praised and so on, that means envy is there. So we can localize the enemy. And if that devotee, there's something that happens to him, physical injury or anything, and yes, that means we're envious of that devotee. Immediately we should pinpoint the enemy within the heart and we should attack. Immediately we should attack. It's bitter medicine, but we must do it. So therefore these menial devotional activities, these menial types of services are very nice, like washing the bathroom of the devotees. That is so nice. Because it's very menial, Bathroom is considered to be a dirty place, and you go there and wash the bathroom for all the devotees. That will really purify the heart. That's really nice. Washing the ashram where the devotees sleep, trying to render some personal service, physical service. That's why the brahmachari, they were trained up with like this. Give massage to the guru, make the bed, arrange the thing. Because in this way you become humble, right? You're serving someone. So that is very nice. Brahmacharya system, how it used to be, develop humility. It was all about developing humility. So anyone who has got the chance to serve a great devotee, personally, physically also, that is nice. Of course, once the pure devotee is gone, we should serve his instruction. That is 135 Adilila, Prabhupada says. Okay, so this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 156. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaiṣṇava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. Yeah, because if we become offensive, envious towards a devotee, definitely will become offensive towards that devotee. If we don't deal with the disease, it will increase more and more. Let me see. Okay, yes, this is it here. One should always think of oneself as the servant of the acharyas. And thinking this, one should live in the society of the Vaishnavas. Just see, that is it. That is the proof that one is humble. He serves the devotees and he lives within the society. He has to go and live within the society of devotees. Of course, now we might be spread to different countries and so on, so he can be in the society online, that is nice. But physical life, that is life, because how long one can survive on its own? Can we stay like 50 years in one's own corner and just attending these life classes and so on? I have my great doubts, After all, the instructions are there that we have to live in the society of devotee. Airplanes are there nowadays, right? It's possible to at one point surrender. So we should think that I want that, because to live alone is impersonal, actually. It's an impersonal life. Because Brahman effulgence means billions and billions and billions, unlimited, minute soul, all thinking that they're alone. I'm Brahman, Sat, eternal. Although they're surrounded by billions that are living in, they're still there. I'm alone, small particle of spirit. But spiritual life means Vaikuntha Loka. And in Vaikuntha Loka, there's devotees everywhere. So unless we learn how to reciprocate with devotees physically here, associating with them, how are we going to be able to tolerate being in the spiritual world with only devotees? So it's a practice here, how to live in the temple, how to tolerate. That's the thing, Being far away from devotees, you don't have to tolerate all their imperfections, and you don't have much opportunity for some friction occurring. But these frictions are necessary. They're testing us. How much are you going to be tolerating that devotee saying this to you? How much are you going to be tolerating that? How much are you going to compromise your sense gratification in order to adjust the situation at the moment? How much will you be willing to become humble to rectify the offense that you've committed to that devotee? So we have to live it in the mat with the devotees. Now one can say, what about you? You're staying at the farmhouse and all. Yes, the farmhouse is actually a long-term project. I want to be making, with Krishna's blessing, Prabhupada's mercy, I would love to see in the future some devotee association there, I'm trying to bring the Matajis there. It's kind of a tug of war between them and me. Anyway, that's another thing. But I definitely don't want to be alone like this, only with my wife and children, and not have devotees association. No way. I can already feel it that it's very different. But yeah, so must be with the devotees. Now, however, if one thinks that he has become very mature and can live separate from the association of Vaishnavas, no, I'm very advanced now. Devotee association, living in the temple, it's all for you neophytes. Me, I'm on a higher platform. I've started to practice Raganuga devotional service, so I'm okay. But for you neophyte devotees, you can go and live in the temple, but I'm alright. And thus gives up all the regulative principles due to avenging a Vaiṣṇava. One's position becomes very dangerous. So Prabhupada is practically equating living separate from devotees to a Vaiṣṇava parad. Just see. And how is that? How can it be? Well, to disobey the order of the spiritual master, or to consider him an ordinary person. That's one of the 10 offenses in chanting the holy name, right? So that's more or less an offense to Srila Prabhupada, to stay separate. This separate living should be a temporary means. At one point, one should learn about proper surrender. Not just theory, but practical. One's position becomes very dangerous. Offenses against the holy name are explained in Adilila chapter 8, verse 24. Giving up the regulative principles and living according to one's whims are compared to a mad elephant, which by force uproots the bhakti-lata and breaks it to pieces. In this way, the bhakti-lata shrivels. So we have seen devotees who were associating online only, and they fell away at one point. They were not capable of keeping up. Of course, if one is very sincere and serious, he's capable of maintaining, but he has to hear. He has to attend live session again and again. He has to take guidance also. Not that I attend live lectures, but when in my life I'm faced with a dilemma, I don't ask devotees as to what to do. No. Such an offense is especially created when one disobeys the instruction of the spiritual master. This is called Guru Avagnya. The devotee must therefore be very careful not to commit offenses against the spiritual master. As soon as one is deviated from the spiritual master, the uprooting of the bhakti-lata begins, and gradually all the leaves dry up. Yes. And how to not commit this offense? Oops, what did I do? How to not commit this offense? Here, you see this? Fencing. Avarana. Protective fencing. Because the offense is compared to a mad elephant, right? So we have to put a fence around our bhakti-lata against the elephant so that it doesn't enter. So what is this fencing? The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. While the bhakti-lata creeper is growing, the devotee must protect it by fencing it all around. The neophyte devotee must be protected by being surrounded by pure devotees. Exactly. Surrounded. That means living with them. Okay, this is how we are fully protected. Unless we come in the association of devotees and actually learn how to associate with them, not just being physically with them, but also taking guidance from them, being humble in their association, then we are protected. In this way, he will not give the maddened elephant a chance to uproot his bhakti-lata creeper. When one associates with non-devotees, the maddened elephant is set loose. So that is the danger here. That's the danger. Why online association is good, but there's dangers because when we are far away from the devotees, then who will we be with? At one point, there will be some association with non-devotees here or there. It is said man is a social animal, so we need social life. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Asatsanga tyage Vaiṣṇava achara. The first business of the Vaishnava is to give up the company of non-devotees. A so-called mature devotee, however, commits a great offense by giving up the company of pure devotees. So-called mature devotee. So Prabhupada is saying that no, if you think you're so advanced that you can leave the company of great devotee and remain alone, actually that is offensive. Here, yes, so that's it. The living entity is a social animal. And if one gives up the society of pure devotees, he must associate with non-devotees, a satsanga. That's the danger. By contacting non-devotees and engaging in non-devotional activities, a so-called mature devotee will fall victim to the mad elephant offense. So-called mature devotee. And don't think that this cannot happen to us. It can happen to all of us. All of us. We have seen how Prabhupada's godbrothers, it happened to them, this envy and this offense to devotee, to Prabhupada. Prabhupada's disciples, who are now all very senior, very old, they also fall, a lot of them fall into that category. After chanting for 40 years, 50 years. So what, us like newcomers, we cannot? No, there's every chance. Therefore, regular phone calls, regular message. Prabhu, what can I do now? Prabhu, I feel like that. Prabhu, that. I call Sundagopa Prabhu not less than twice a month. At least. So that once in a while, I heard from my Shiksha Guru that, okay, he's saying like this, Prabhu, how are you, Prabhu, how are you, Prabhu? Just, how are you, Prabhu, how's your health? Like this, just communicating, interacting, and hearing. Not talking over. That's another thing. When the advanced devotees speak, even though it's let's say a formal conversation, it's not like an informal conversation, not to speak over him. If he's saying something, oh yes, like this, no, we should hear, we should listen. Yes, okay, yes. Let me hear. Because Krishna says, I dwelling in their heart with the torchlight of knowledge, remove the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna is in everyone's heart, and he's giving some realization to us, that devotee, this devotee. That means we all have different realizations. We don't have all the same sets of realizations. That means there's something I can give you, there's something you can give me. I can hear from you too. Not that today I give class, or Wednesday I gave class. I was there, and that devotee was in the audience, and now it's Thursday, and he's on the Vyasasan. Why should I listen to him? Yesterday he listened to me. It's not like that. The 4 Kumaras, I gave that example a few times, the 4 Kumaras, before they discuss on spiritual subject matter, they choose who will speak. Not that the 4 of them gather together, like sit down and they discuss like that. No, one will speak and the 3 other will listen. Krishna likes this, and because Krishna likes this, he will make the transfer of transcendental knowledge occur. Because this transfer is held by the Lord within the heart. The speaker will get new and fresher realizations, He will be enlivened by speaking. And the humble listener will assimilate that, yes, and he will get newer and newer realization. Not that, hey, I've heard his classes before. What can he say, Or everything he says I've read already. You think I don't read Prabhupada books? I finished Prabhupada books. You have not finished Prabhupada books. You're going to give a class? What can you say? Not like that. Everyone has got some realizations, and if we sincerely hear, of course, provided both of them are sincere, Not that we hear from someone who's insincere, who's a cheater, and we think we'll get proper realization. No, that is not what Krishna wants. Qualification should be there both for the listener and the speaker, both of them. Whatever growth has taken place is quickly uprooted by such an offense. One should therefore be very careful to defend the creeper by fencing it in, that is, by following the regulative principles and associating with pure devotees. If one thinks that there are many pseudo-devotees or non-devotees in the Krishna consciousness society, one can keep direct company with the spiritual master. And if there's any doubt, one should consult the spiritual master. You see. Okay, but if one thinks there are many pseudo-devotees, so there can be, it's a fact, there are many pseudo-devotees actually. But that does not mean that there's no real devotees. However, unless one follows the spiritual master's instructions and the regulative principles governing chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, one cannot become a pure devotee. Okay, so one can use this to say, that's why I live alone. Well, that means you think that all devotees are pseudo-devotees, right? That's offensive. Okay. Yes, so that's it. So when we associate with non-devotees, we will be breaking the regulative principles. Another important thing as to why we need someone else who is observing us. Yes. So why we need an outside look? Why we need someone? Because objective vision is always better than subjective. Just like in astrology, those of you who might know Vedic astrology, you cannot look at your own chart. This is forbidden. You cannot look at because this is subjective. You need an objective. You need someone who's a neutral party, who will look at the chart and say, yes, this is like that, you are like this. You cannot read your own chart. It's going to be defective. So the same thing, you cannot do a self-assessment to your own spiritual life. Although Prabhupada says you should know where you are situated, that doesn't mean that you should not take guidance and see whether or not, which type of unwanted creepers you have. That's the point here. Sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. So just see, okay, here, for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world. So this is also seen as an unwanted creeper. Not just seen, it is an unwanted creeper. If we want to be liberated from the material world, I want to be freed from suffering, that is an unwanted creeper. So unless we have got an advanced devotee who can guide us onto how removing this and engage us so that we can become purified from that too, how will we make progress? Some unnecessary creepers growing with the bhakti creeper are the creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection. Diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. All these are unwanted creepers. So therefore we need a pure devotee, a Shuddha Bhakta, at least a Madhyamadikari, who can help us. Behavior that are unacceptable. Sometimes, we are being contacted by devotees that, Prabhu, I did like this, I did like that, I wasted semen, or so on and so on. So this is unacceptable. So we need to approach devotee that, how can I do, Prabhu? How can I be rectified? Diplomatic behavior, this is extremely, this is a kutinati. Diplomatic behavior, diplomacy. Trying to control the devotees and the math for one's own sense gratification, saying one thing but thinking something else. Just like there was one devotee who came here to our temple here in China some time ago, very humble, so-called, Prabhuji, doing very nicely, this, that. Later on, one Mataji comes back and says, Prabhu, I'm so sorry, I'm very sorry, you're a very nice devotee and so on. What happened? No, you're very nice, why should one speak against you? Why should one say bad things against you? Like. So she didn't want to say it directly, but I understood that other devotee, that male devotee, spoke so many bad things against us to that Mataji. And that Mataji was hearing, and she was very disturbed. And therefore she came, that day, and Prabhu, I'm very sorry, please excuse me. So she did the right thing. She came and apologized. But the proof is that the other so-called devotee was doing diplomacy in front of us. Oh, yes, so now, and then when he has a chance, he will start to speak bad. So we have to be extremely careful from such devotees. Extremely careful. The devotee, actually there's problem in the management, Actually, temple president is not doing so nice and so on. Be careful, be wary of such devotee. That means diplomacy is there, Why should one be diplomatic? Prabhupada says we are not, what is it? We are not politicians plotting. What is this plotting? That devotee like that, no. This is condemn. That you're going to take part with these devotees and condemn another devotee like that? No, this is condemn. This is this, there's a verse, very nice verse, and in this, what is that part? What was that? Can I find this? I hope I can find this. No, where was this that I saw that? I saved it in one of my notes. This is exactly what I've mentioned just now, like so it's not, okay, no, it's not here, maybe here. Please be patient with me, because this is the exact verse. When I saw that, I was, oh, this is very nice. It describes this kind of okay, I don't. Yes! Sorry. Okay, I found it. But that is, okay, good. That is from Chaitanya Bhagavata. This is diplomatic behavior here, okay? Let me share. Oops, not this, sorry. Yeah, okay. Where is that? Yeah. So Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Kanda 13.160. Ye papishta eka Vaiṣṇavera paksha hayanya Vaiṣṇavere ninde seyaya kshaya. Any wretched person who takes the side of one Vaiṣṇava and criticizes another Vaiṣṇava is certainly doomed. Just see. So that is diplomatic behavior. Prabhupada says we are not politicians. We should discuss things openly. What is this thing plotting? Prabhupada says plotting, So this plotting, Prabhu, actually that Prabhu is not good, doing like that, doing like this, So many things in the management, Prabhu, not good. So, yes, here. Prabhupada says, this is a letter to a devotee, November 25th, 1972. If they have objection, they must lodge it with their GBC, and differences must be discussed openly amongst ourselves, not secret meetings. See that? If we have any objection or anything, we have to approach authority. Not that I'm going to go see that devotee and, what do you think about that devotee? Oh, yeah, I think the same thing, and then make factions. No. Not secret meetings, openly. We are Vaiṣṇava devotees, not politicians. So these things must stop. Plotting. So, of course. And then Prabhupada praised that devotee. Your merit stands far above theirs. You have done some tangible work to please me by spreading this Kṛṣṇa consciousness message in New Orleans. That is the test. Let them do something first. Then we shall see what is their criticism. Just see Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is saying, you've done something. They have not proven themselves yet to be very much beneficial to the spreading of this Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement. Let them do something first. Then we shall contemplate whether or not their criticism has got value. Simply criticizing and no work, that is the business of inferior men. So do not be disturbed by them. Go on with your work, increasing more and more. Never mind the jackal's howl. So Prabhupada here is encouraging his disciple, who's a preacher, not to be, too much disturbed by the envious, those kutinati, right? Diplomatic devotees. So be very careful. If you hear a devotee like that, he's approaching, Prabhu, this, I think this, be very, very careful, because that is very dangerous. We are not supposed to be like this. We're supposed to be discussing things in an open way, okay? So this is one of the unwanted creeper. And how can we rectify that? If we start to be diplomatic behavior, because we've seen in the beginning stage, envy is there. All right. So if we start to have some diplomatic behaviors with other devotees, how to rectify this? Unless you go to a senior devotee. How are you going to be rectified? There's no way you can. On your own, it won't work. You must approach. So diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, I'll make money off the temple money or something like that. Mundane adoration, yes, let them praise me. I'm so great. So, okay. Now, we treat the brahmana, there are spiritual investments obstructed. Yeah, here. You see? Okay, yeah. Kutinati, or diplomatic behavior, cannot satisfy the Atma, the soul. It cannot even satisfy the body or the mind. The culprit mind is always suspicious. That's so important to know. Our mind is always suspicious. Are you sure that devotee is real? He's faking it, you know. He's acting only. Will that devotee really hear me? Is he actually meaning what he's saying? So the culprit mind is always suspicious like that. Is he really real? You know, always trying to find fault in someone. Therefore, our dealing should always be straightforward and approved by Vedic authorities. That's the way we're going to counteract this. Straightforward. Prabhu, I'm sorry I've committed this offense, you know. Okay, let's do service together. What can I do for you? How can I serve you? Straightforward, open, you know, revealing our mind, revealing our heart. What do I feel? That is important in devotee association. Otherwise, we cannot maintain an establishment of devotee. If we treat people diplomatically or duplicitously, our spiritual advancement is obstructed. Okay, and then there's something else that I wanted to speak about in this. Okay, sometimes, yes, exactly, that is it, you see. So all these obstructions have been described in this verse as unwanted creepers. They simply present obstacles for the real creeper, Bhaktilata Bij. One should be very careful to avoid all these unwanted things. Sometimes, okay, let's see this. Sometimes these unwanted creepers look exactly like the Bhaktilata creeper. They appear to be of the same size and the same species when they're packed together with the Bhaktilata creeper. But in spite of this, the creepers are called upashaka. Okay, that's so important. All these things, diplomatic behavior, even animal killing, what to speak about this, mundane profiteering, desire for name and fame, appear to be bhakti to the neophyte. That is so important, because the neophyte is actually really bewildered. He thinks that I'm doing devotional service when actually he's indulging of one of these things. So this is why it's so important. The Bhaktilata is growing, or little growth there, whatever is there, and the unwanted creeper is right in front. And look, it looks like the same, you know. And he's thinking, yes, this is devotional service. Yeah. No, I'm making a lot of money, you know. I'm starting a business now. Oh, I'm putting everything in my bank account. No, it's devotional service. I will use that in the future. I'm also doing bhakti, you know. You and I are the same. You might be part of the math of the temple, but I'm working, I'm making money for Krishna. My bank balance, there are more zeros. I'm also doing that. Are you sure you're doing bhakti, my friend? You sure you don't want to be hearing from a devotee who's actually surrendered to understand that what you're doing is not bhakti? Or no, let's plot against that devotee, we're going to kick him out or, destroy him. I'm doing devotional service, So, in order to be rectified from this, because we're an illusion, we cannot see it. We misunderstand these unwanted creepers to be the real thing. In order to be rectified, we have to hear from someone who can pinpoint that, my friend, this is not bhakti what you're doing. This is anartha, and you have to rectify yourself. And this is how Prabhupada concludes that purport. A pure devotee can distinguish between the Bhaktilata creeper and the mundane creeper. And he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. That's it. So that is, a pure devotee can do that. Pure devotee, where is that pure devotee, Only Prabhupada is a pure devotee. So as we have quoted, Madhyama Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings. Madhyama Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta. Yeah. See this? Krishna Prema, Krishna Bhakte Maitri Archarane, Balishete Kripa, Aradveshi Upekshana, Karilena Madhyama Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta, Hana Krishna Name, Adhikara Karena Arjana. One who has love for Krishna who makes friend with the devotees, who shows mercy to the neophytes and ignorant people, and who avoids the envious is a Madhyama Bhakta and is considered a pure devotee, a Shuddha Bhakta. He is qualified to chant the holy name of Krishna. So Madhyama Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta. So we have to seek such devotee and take guidance from them. Like this, we make sure that our unwanted creepers are located, that they are cut off, and that is the way of getting freed from envy of other devotees. Okay, I think we will start the questions session, and we will surely be seeing more verses as we go. So Hare Krishna, all of you, thank you very much. So yes, Prabhu, is that new series about etiquette. So okay, now you might say that Vaiṣṇava etiquette, why this envy is in there. Actually, the etiquette here, which I've not highlighted, but this is what we've been discussing. The etiquette is to approach a senior devotee for guidance. That is Vaiṣṇava etiquette, and that's how we can become. But because the topic, the theme of these series is called taboo, Vaiṣṇava taboo. I always try to pinpoint the kind of the taboo subject, the controversial subject, right? Which is to become envious of devotee. And the Vaiṣṇava etiquette of that is to approach a senior devotee, to take guidance from senior devotees. That's the etiquette, you know. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I hope that you have kept the questions concerning this topic. So if there are some questions that are not related to this topic, we might not be answering. Okay, so this is not directly related to the topic. I want to ask a question. If Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, then how he is considered as more compassionate than Krishna? So, okay, we won't dwell too much as it's not related to the topic. But Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not just Krishna himself. He is Krishna himself with Radha's love. So he's both, he's Radha Krishna in one body. So Srimati Radharani is more merciful than Krishna. And that is why Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful than Krishna himself, in, as Krishna. So that is one. So it's actually Srimati Radharani's mercy, Yes, so here, because Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Srimati Radharani and she is the most compassionate. Yes, so that is. Why would people envy the devotees in the first place? Well, that is the thing. We are all coming from, we were all in this material world, dealing with karmis and so on, and it's simply a society of envy, right? These verses are there, Rishabhadev, he creates a society of envy. Is it Rishabhadev or Prahlad Maharaj? Anyway, so a society of envy. This is all it is, material world. I envy you, you envy me. So when we transfer our existence from material to spiritual, that envious nature will be carried with us. We have seen, Prabhupada says, the neophyte devotee is invariably envious. So we were all there, or we are still there. So it's not unusual. We're not saying, you're envious, you go away. No, we all start from some point, we have no, it's not unusual to have these bad qualities in the heart. But they should be dealt with. That's the thing. They should be located. We should accept our fallen and degraded position, and we should act in a way as to rectify our mistake. That is the proper understanding. But why Christian missionaries and Muslims speak against the Hare Krishna movement? Don't they respect other religions? Well, we have seen, how can one who eats meats develop non-enviousness? That is, Anyway, we don't want to be criticizing any other religion or anything, but Srimad Bhagavatam can be accepted by those who are non-envious. That's the point. So we will not say like Christian or Muslims. We have to see things through the qualities of a person, the activities and the results, right? Qualities, activities and results of what you're gaining. Are they gaining pure love of God? Which other movement in the world teaches you to be 24 hours a day thinking about pleasing God, about serving God, with no personal considerations? Where is it? Even in our Krishna consciousness movement, or even in Varnashram Dharma Hinduism, most devotees are there for some material purpose. So what to speak of, other lower grades religious systems? Okay. Okay. Prabhu, does this mean that everyone in ISKCON directly or indirectly envy Prabhupada since they are not obeying his orders regarding initiation? So, disobedience is due to envy. When we disobey an authority, that means we're envious of that authority. Otherwise, why should I disobey? What is the cause of disobedience? It is envy. So this is spoken by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita. So here, 331, Bhagavad Gita. Here it comes. Right. So the Lord says, okay, let me pull out the original. Okay. One who executes his duties according to my injunctions and who follows this teaching faithfully without envy becomes free from the bondage of fruitive actions. And then, so without envy, he's saying, and then the next verse, the Lord is saying, but those who, out of envy, see, disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly, are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and doomed to ignorance and bondage. So disobedience to the teachings of the authority is due to envy. So that's a fact. So anyone, whether you're saying ISKCON, Gaudiya Math, Ritviks, or it doesn't matter, if you're disobeying Srila Prabhupada, that is due to envy. So concerning, yes, this 2/3 vote electing system in ISKCON is not approved by Prabhupada. It has never been spoken about him in any of his teachings. In fact, we find things that go against such elective system. So now there's a system by which 2/3 voting system is electing gurus in ISKCON. That is bogus. And this system has been changed 14 times. Prabhupada says changes means rascaldom. So it is not authorized by Prabhupada. It's a clear fact, and that's why there's so many flaws, Yes, and also another place. The Lord says also regarding this envy, we can follow instructions with full heart, when we are freed from envy. He also says that in 1871. Is this what you're seeing now? Yes. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction and attains to the planets where the pious dwell. So the Lord says if you listen to this Bhagavad Gita without envy, So that is important. This is what we've lost this light. Anyway. We're almost done. Maybe I can boost this here. Okay. So, without envy, again, you see, so we have to be freed from envy in order to properly accept the instructions of a superior. That's a fact. So yes, disobedience to Prabhupada means envy. If success was so easy, I would just tell you I'm envious of you. If success, in regard to what is it that we've said? Success. I mean, successfully removing one's envy from the heart, yes, it entails saying to someone I'm envious. I mean, not saying I'm envious of you in that way, but Prabhu, I'm sorry if I've had some bad thoughts concerning you. That is very nice if one is capable of doing that. And the person whom we approach, if he's actually a devotee, immediately will forgive. Prabhu, so by constant association with senior devotees through classes and hearing from them, by calling or texting, one will eventually get the qualities of them and be freed from envy. Yes, that is the exact point that we've been stressing. Because, and those qualities that those senior devotees have are not there because they are the possessor of such quality. No. They're there because they follow Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has got these qualities. So when one follows Prabhupada properly, he's getting these qualities. And if we follow such devotee also, we will get their qualities. And then someone who will follow us in the future will get these qualities. This is the parampara system, associating with devotees who were there before us. Because if we don't go to some authority thinking that I'm independent, then nobody else was there before me, right? I'm the first devotee, and there's no devotee before me. So that's the way. So revealing our mind, listening to them, hearing the lectures, taking guidance, this is the way of removing envy from the heart. My local temple is ISKCON. Shall I associate with them? So, okay, there's a lot to learn about the movement, but the main thing boils down to this system of initiation, which is wrong. It is electing, Guru means the highest authority. How can there be an authority above him? It doesn't make sense. Prabhupada didn't want that. Prabhupada wanted the GBC to be the supreme managing authority for like temple presidents and other devotees, but not that they start to elect gurus. And Guru is self-effulgent. By his own preaching, he will be capable. For the sake of, do you think that any of the spiritual master at the moment in the movement, without the temples, without the fame that ISKCON has, without any of their disciples, without Prabhupada books, on their own, would be able to now go to New York in Tompkins Square Park and revive the movement there in New York or in the West, which is dwindling. The Hare Krishna movement in the West is more or less finished. The ISKCON temples are filled with Hindus, Prabhupada went there to preach to the Westerners especially. He said the Indians are already Krishna consciousness to some level, we want to make locals. So can any one of them go there and revive it? If they could, they would. So Mataji, we have to be very careful. So you have to study the subject matter, okay? So now is the time for sharing some links, some of the things happening in our movement. Just give me one moment here. So we've got we have a lot of content concerning what took place in our movement, okay? But here's a good video you can start with. Not just you, but anyone else who is not so much sure about what is going on, why are we named ISKM and we don't serve in ISKCON. Actually, we follow exactly the bona fide instruction of Srila Prabhupada. So this is a video that you can go see. I'm putting the link in the description here. Okay, this is called, it's a video we've made on the Ritvik system of initiation. You can start with that. Also, if you want association, you can, as we said, associate online. Okay, you can add my number. This is my phone number. I can add you to a Mataji's group. We have a WhatsApp Mataji's group. You can join that group and join chanting sessions, reading sessions, these live lectures, okay, revealing your mind, take guidance. In this way, you'll be able to have some association online, okay? And also now I'm going to be putting the our Telegram group, which is just for Prabhus, so only male devotees can join this group. So for female group, as I said, you add my number on WhatsApp or Telegram and I'll be adding you. But this is a link, a direct link to our Telegram group that you can press if you're a Prabhuji, if you're a man, you can join directly. Okay. Prabhuji, regularly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and focus my mind on the Lord Krishna's lotus feet and I feel very blessed and joyful. Very nice. Keep chanting. That is nice. Okay. Prabhu, what if someone criticizes ISKM? They think they're doing bhakti this way, but it looks like an unwanted creeper. But what about us when we criticize someone? They may counter-argue like this. Yes. So criticism is there, is bona fide when we are right. When we are wrong, then it's not good. Criticism must be there. Criticism means discrimination, and Madhyama Adhikari means discrimination. I mean, he's seeing according to discriminating, right? So the proper way to criticize is there, is spoken by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? So, and the fault finding. So we've shown this many times. So proper criticism is always authorized. To blaspheme a Vaiṣṇava is an offense. Blaspheming other jivas is a sin. A Vaiṣṇava has no desire to perform such sinful activities. Yet, if one has proper intentions in pointing out another's fault, then Shastra does not consider that as an offense. There are three types of proper intention. If we expose someone's sins in order that they ultimately attain auspiciousness, then such discussions are favorable. So we are not like against devotees in ISKCON, we just want them to be rectified. But many of them will not. Therefore, if we deliberate on a sinner's vices in order to benefit the whole world, then this should be counted as an auspicious action. We don't want others to fall into the trap that is going on at the moment. Therefore, we preach and we criticize. If such deliberations are for one's own spiritual benefit, then such an aspect carries no fault. We also try to be convinced about our own path of devotional life, and therefore there must be some such criticism. And here, so one has to go to Guru. When a disciple prays to the Guru to identify a true Vaishnava, the Guru, desiring auspiciousness for the disciple and the whole world, may draw attention to a non-Vaishnava whose behavior is actually unholy, as well as those who are saintly Vaishnavas. So you see? So they might say, we are unholy, they're holy, and we say they're unholy, we are holy. So how to know? Therefore we have to go back to Prabhupada. Sadhu Sastra Sadhu. Guru Sastra Sadhu, right? So they're saying they're sadhu, we're not really sadhu. We're saying they're sadhu and they're not sadhu. So who is right, who is wrong? With the intention to guide others to accept shelter at the feet of real Vaishnavas. It is not sadhu ninda or Vaishnava parad to reject the company of such deceitful dharmadvajis, religious pretenders. Even if criticism arises towards a specific person, we can even say the name of those who are deviating. It is still free from any fault. These are all examples of criticizing with the proper motivation. So it's okay. And now they say we are right, we say we are right. All right, so let's see. According to Prabhupada's books, can you make a presentation showing so many evidences that you are correct? They cannot. In fact, when we Prabhupada, word for word, right? This is how you can know. A very clear statement will be there, and they will not follow that statement. Very simple. Prabhupada says, when one has attained the post of Uttama Adhikari, he can become Guru and make disciples all over the world. Only such a devotee is authorized to become spiritual master. Only the Mahabhagavata. Very clear, is it not? It's there in Prabhupada's books. Very clear. Only such a devotee can become spiritual. Alright, they don't accept that. They say no, also this, that. So, who you gonna accept? So therefore, Shastra, we must go back to Prabhupada's books. So we are not actually offensive, we are defensive. a CLG friend criticizing Vaishnavas because we don't take demigods' offerings. If some sattvic food offers to demigod, can it also be rejected by a Vaishnava? Yes, of course it should be rejected. Sattvic or rajasic or tamasic, if it's not prasadam. We've quoted that, we've done a session on this about eating outside food. From the, Skanda Purana, the Lord says, food that is not offered to me is as good as dog stool, and the drink as good as alcohol. So, even if it's offered to a demigod, same thing. So, actually a Vaishnava is not allowed to take any food offered to the demigods. A Vaishnava is always fixed in accepting prasad offered. That's the perfect answer to your question. Prabhu, can you please elaborate on changing guru system 14 times? I heard it many times from you. Where can we read about this? To read about this, you will have to go through all of the GBC policies. They release their policies every year in a formal format, like resolutions, GBC resolutions 2014, GBC resolution 2015. If you go from 1978 all the way today, you will see how they've changed this and that so many times. But you can see in the beginning it was 11 guru, right? They were all called Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa. They were all called His Divine Grace. That was the title also. Acharyas, 11 Acharyas. They have removed the name Acharya at one point. They've removed His Divine Grace at one point. Then they allowed other gurus to join in. It was not fully open. Only a few others. Then I believe like Gopal Kṛṣṇa Mahārāja joined in after that with a few others, so then there was a couple more. And after that, no, it was like, like regional or, they changed it, so many times. So if you want to study, I cannot tell you each and every single changes, how it occurred. But I've heard that from Urmila. I didn't watch the whole video, but I saw a segment of Urmila Mataji, who wants to be guru also, and now is angry at all of them for not letting her become guru, so she's speaking out. And she was interviewed by this Namaras podcast, and she said that our guru system was changed 14 times. It just says something about it, meaning that it's bogus. So Urmila Mataji, who's in the GBC, is saying that the guru system is bogus. Just see. Yes, so we have said we have got this skin problem on the hand. So okay, there were not many. Angel Di Maria, Prabhuji, I want to start devotional life. What book should I read first? If you're very serious, you can start with Bhagavad Gita directly. So where are you in the world? You can order, if your English is good enough, you can order Bhagavad Gita. I'm gonna put the link here. Sorry. You can order from them here. They ship worldwide. This is the original Bhagavad Gita as it is from Srila Prabhupada. Unfortunately, they have changed. They made a lot of editing, so I'm putting the link here in the question section. So here you can order. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is, 1972. So okay, so no more questions. So I think we have summarized properly. There are many other verses concerning Vaiṣṇava Aparad also, but since we were discussing of envy and not necessarily the aparad, because envy does not necessarily lead to an aparad if we deal with it. So we did not dwell too much in the verses dealing with Vaiṣṇava Aparad. So okay, if there's any questions, you can type I have a question so that I don't quit right away. But this is the summary. All of us at some point, or even now, have got some envy towards devotees, and we have to address that. Meaning we have to go to that devotee and take guidance from that devotee. And Prabhuji, what can I do? I'm feeling envy in the heart. How can I rectify? And hearing from that devotee. Hearing from the devotee with whom we feel some envy is purifying. It is humbling. And it is the way to all the auspiciousness, how we will progress more and more. And associate with the devotees, especially physically, living in the association of devotees, rendering some menial service. Just like washing dishes, washing bathrooms, things like this help us very much, revealing our mind. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll be ending the session here. So vanchakalpatarubhischa kripasindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Anantakuti Vaishnava ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Janitai Gopramanande. Hari Hari.